All right, so what's really interesting, you just had Neil talk to you about robotics. Hopefully that was exciting. There's a pairing here as we talk about this next one. I got Todd here, the Chief Business Officer, because what we're going to view is really like 3D imaging that you can use in the medical facilities with patients. We thought this was interesting because it engages in such a different way. So Todd, tell me a little bit more about what this product is and what you're doing.
Thanks, Andy. The reality of imaging and surgery today is that it's pretty antiquated when you think about the fact that MRI and CT was set up 50 years ago. It's rendered in black and white, 2 dimensions. Now, it used to be printed on film and we'd put it on a light board. Today, at least, those images are digital, but the reality is the technology itself is 50 years old. And what a lot of people don't understand is it's inverted. So right is left and left is right. And so when you need surgery, especially something like brain surgery or heart surgery, oftentimes it's a pretty scary day when you finally meet that surgeon, right? Doctors for 50 years have been forced to look at imaging through the eyes of a radiologist, and so have patients, but they're not radiologists. And so a lot of downstream challenges occur because of that. Now, what we do, Avatar Medical, is we instantly convert the 2-dimensional image into a 3D reconstruction. We do it instantly. And when we do that, what happens is in the exam room is the doctor now has a 3-dimensional model that they can use to explain the anatomy, the pathology, and even the plan to approach how to fix it. And when they do that, a lot of wonderful things happen. One of which is it's a lot more efficient. So when we turn it into 3D, what happens is patients finally understand what their doctor is saying. They understand the anatomy and the medical jargon that the doctor might use as it relates to their condition, their case, and the plan to fix it.
And what's interesting is if you look at this, and I know it's hard to see on the camera, but as I click this, I can see a 3-dimensional image that's literally coming out of the screens. I don't have glasses, I don't have to do anything. So when you talk about engaging a patient, I can be focused on what matters, looking at an image, not trying to understand it, but being pointed to the exact thing that's happening. So you're in market right now. You're working with systems. Tell us a little bit more around the response, where you're at and what the response has been.
Great question. So our hypothesis was if we bring these models into the exam room for high acuity surgery like brain surgery, ENT, craniomaxillofacial, we started mostly above the shoulders. If we did that, our hypothesis was people would have a better experience, the doctors would love it because it would be more efficient, and they'd have a better connection and a faster connection with the patient, and more people would stay. So we deployed the technology into some major academic and private medical centers. And sure enough, our hypothesis was correct in that not only did the patient rate their experience higher, we asked some of the same questions in the post-consultation survey that Medicare asks through HCAP. So a lot of hospitals today are focused on, from top-line revenue growth, how do you grow faster and easier than anything else? That when you show a patient this in the exam room, no matter what kind of technology you deploy in the OR.
Well, I think it's also kind of there's an important connection to how people feel emotionally when they're going through surgery, that they feel like they trust the doctor and the institution that they're at,
Yep.
and they have an understanding that actually creates an element of, it's easier to recover. When you're not dealing with the stress, it's easier, like if you think about infections, all those other things, there's a lot of other elements, and if you could take some of the stress out, and some of the inform and create more literacy, like that helps a ton with patients.
And when a patient feels like they are a part of their healthcare decision. Now remember, I accentuated the word feels for a reason. How do you get somebody to feel a certain way? Technology, good technology can do that. It can be the bridge between this wonderful moment where a surgeon and a patient actually connect and they feel like they are a part of their healthcare decision.
And you mentioned it before that payers are impacted, providers are impacted, and so being able to understand the impacts on margin and how you keep patients in the door.
Yeah.
Revenue retention is huge, but then also optimize when they are there. How do you improve what is really hard movements to make on the scores, which is super important. So like really quick, I want to make a connection back to this, as we think about the Consumer Electronics Show. One thing is like every consumer at some point is a patient. Right, and sometimes we lose that when we think about the wearables and everything else. So, Todd, I want to thank you as we think about like what this can do to engage a patient in a moment that matters, to help really engage them in a different way, earn trust in the institution, which will help us when you think about all the other things that are going to happen to the downstream. So it's awesome. Thank you for the time.
Thanks for being here, Andy.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
More to come from CES.